everyone, welcome to day 9 of learning data analytics with Python. As always, I'm really excited because we have just another lecture, and right now we'll be working with non-filled data points and how we can work around with that, how we can identify them, and how we can delete them from our Excel file. Till now what we were doing, we had the entire data set, and we were saying, okay, this is a particular column that has so many none values, and this is a particular column that has so many filled values. Now let's see how we can delete them or how we can fill them, right? Let's just dive into it. So you can see for now I'm using these two values. I'm using pandas and seaborn. I'm using seaborn because I want to load a data set. So you see, with every single day that I'm having, I'm trying to get you another way of getting data. So we are trying to get the Titanic data from internet right now. That's why we have seaborn.load dataset Titanic. Before this, we actually imported a data using CSV file. We creating random values, and then we also created using a dictionary. And now here we are, where we are importing data from internet, and we do it directly by going to df. We want the data frame to be named as SNS. And because Titanic is a data frame only, so we need not do a pd.data frame, and this is the particular column we want in our data frame. We don't need to do it. It's just completely done already for us. So df equal to SNS dot load data set, and we want the Titanic to be loaded inside, right? And that's why we're using Titanic here. And then we want the print function. We want to see the first these heads. So you can see they're survived, p class, what's the 6, age, SIBSP, Parch, Fair, Embarked, and class. And then we have who, adult male, Dick, and Embarked town, alive or non-alive. And then we have alone, right? So these are this is how the dataset looks like right now. Okay, and if we have to check for the null values, all we have to do df dot underscore drop na underscore rows. I want this to be df drop na, right? And now if I have to check how many, let's say, rows do I have now, that would be using shape, right? So I have dropped using drop na column. This is just like how we had dot mean and then we use parenthesis. Just like that we have drop na parenthesis. The same way we are trying to see what is the shape which will look like. And if you can see right now, shape after dropping rows with na values is 182 and 15. So 182 is the number of rows that we have, and 15 is the number of columns that we have. This is what the shape looks like. And shape after dropping columns with NaN values, we can drop columns, but we need to change the axis to drop the column which has, let's say, no value addition. So we can do it using axis equal to 1. That's how we drop the columns which have no value inside, right? So we did that, and you can see there's a change in shape, 891 and 11. That's the new shape that we have now. And if you want to see a shape after dropping rows with NaN in age or embark, particularly, that is, we want to drop the rows, but we want to drop the rows only and only in age and embark. Okay, there might be one doubt that why do we have 891 here after doing let's say dropping again. You need to see if we are dropping from data frame, and here we are just dropping the number of columns. So initially the number of columns are 15 only, right? And we are dropping it to 11, and initially the number of rows are 891. We are dropping the non-values. So even if a single cell in the entire row is having null value, it will show us 182. Right now, if you're doing it in age and embarked, then it is 712 and 15, right? And we do it in this way, that drop na, but I want you to do subset, that don't do it in all the rows, just do it in age and embarked, right? This is how you will be able to use only these two columns to get the rows sorted out for yourself, right? So you can see the number of columns are again 15 as 182, 15, and the number of rows dropped. And again, if you want to do it for the column itself, you can do it using axis equal to 1, right? So this is the three methodologies that we can use to, let's say to drop a particular column, or let's say a row. But just remember, let's say whenever we will go to, let's say, predictive models, you will see that we'll be dropping columns entirely irrespective of if they have a lot of data or they do not. Right now what we are doing, we are just dropping the columns which have, let's say, even one data point which is missing. But after this, we'll drop the entire column. It's very easy, but we'll do it in our next lecture. Just know, for now, this drop NA, nothing written inside, is for rows. Drop NA x is equal to 1 is for columns. Drop NA where we want, rows from a certain column to be deleted. That is done using age, subset function. So this is something that which will be used extensively later also. And you might want to, okay, never mind, let's not do it, but let's see how we can work with the filling these NaN values. So I want to create another copy of the data frame that I have here, and I want it to be pasted in df fill NA mean, right? And I can do it using df dot copy. Again, same syntax like dot copy, the dot mean and the parenthesis then. And I want from the entire the data frame that I have now, I want only age to be taken, right? And after age, I want, okay, take this age again. You can see these two arguments are completely similar. df underscore fill NA underscore mean age, df underscore fill NA underscore mean age. I want to fill the null values and take the mean. So what is happening exactly here? Imagine that you have 5 cells and you have the value 1, 2 and 3, 4, and the 5th cell is actually empty. So what you're trying to do, that 5th cell, you're trying to insert the mean of the first 4 cells. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4. The mean will be 2.5. So the center cell will actually have 2.5 in between. Right, that's exactly what you're trying to do here. So you will calculate the mean of the entire column, and then whenever you have, let's say, empty column, you will enter that mean there. But remember, we'll not be able to do it whenever we'll have textual values. So for that, we use something known as imputer, and we'll do it in the same regression model, that is the predictive model that we'll be developing. Whenever, let's say, the name of the person is missing, what value can we add at that time, right? So we'll do that. So you can see how I'm doing it with mean once, where I'm saying, okay, whatever is the mean of the entire data set, add those values. But you can also do it using some other value. You can do it with mode, you can do it with median, you can do it with any other singular value also, whatever you might feel like. So right now what I'm saying, this is a single value, right? Dot mean. If you want all these cells to be filled with 10, instead of writing this entire file here, you can always say, boss, just write 10 inside and you will be able to get it. You can also write a textual value. So whenever you have an empty cell, if you want to change that empty cell to null, use the quotes and then write null in between, and all the cells in between will be filled with null. This is how you can actually use fill NA to see which all cells are missing and then you can add whatever you want in those missing cells. And again, I'm creating a function where I like missing values in age this. I'm writing a text so that everyone can understand what exactly is the meaning of this. And you can see these are the missing values, right? So if I have df, this is the mean, this thing I'm calculating for age, right? This thing is coming up here, and I want is NA. So is NA will actually give me 1 if we have a cell equal to empty, and if the cell is not empty, then it will give me 0. And if I'm calculating sum here, I can see, okay, if I have more than 0, then there are some cells which are still empty even after performing this function. So it is just like a check for us, right? So we imputed the data using our mean, and now we are checking it using isNA.sum. So you need to understand how this works, and you need to write this in your Jupyter notebook with me. Keep on pausing the video and do it with me. So isNA will give you 1, 2, 3, 1, 0, 0. Let's say next 2 are not empty, and then we have 1 again. submit, it should come to 0. And if it coming to 0, then just know that it worked for you. And now instead of using age, I'm using embarked, right? And I will copy the data frame again. I'll create a copy here. Now this time I wanted to do it using mode, and you can see now the mode is the argument for mode is written here. And now I want to see if there is any 0 or let's say non-null values. If I want to see if there's any null value left behind, and I can do it using isNA and some function, and I will just close the bracket because it's a function that we have. Functions are always under a curly bracket, and then function that will give you a single value that you want to perform. Otherwise, this is also known as a function, right? Don't get confused. I want you to just go through this part of fill NaN once again if you are getting confused here, because when we will be using simple imputer, we will be doing something similar, but we don't have to write all this code by ourselves in a very complex way. We can just write a very simple one. It will just get done with for us. So I hope you are able to flow along with me, and after that we'll actually work with something like sorting, sort index, and ranking the values. So this is majorly used in finance ranking, because there are a lot of let's say quantimental model that you create for investing, and this is a particular point that will actually help you a lot, and we'll be working with that later. I'll be covering a basics that you can use it in any particular field. So that would be it from my end. We learned all of these functions now: is null, not null, drop NA, fill NA, right? So handling NAs and impute is something that we'll be doing later when we'll have regressions done, right? So that would be it from my end. And yes, practical example was taking Titanic, the ship that sank. So that's all from my end. If you have any doubts, you can always contact me. I hope you loved it. Thank you so much.